just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, good. Sounds good. That's nice.
That's knowing you're all taking it.
She volunteered to come here and she got stabbed by him. Oh, wait a minute. Here, do this the right way here.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, cute. I love this. Okay. I like that. Thank you. My best way. That's beautiful.
But it was funny.
I always look for
Well, I'm still in the national guard.
I have plans.
Good afternoon. My name is Carolyn Evans Strawberry. We're having trouble with the mic. We can show our appreciation for the men and women of the armed forces. The Portsmouth RI Public Library allowed us to put it here, and as you can see, this is a park-like setting for it. And it was chosen because of its location in the town, the accessibility to the public, and off-street parking so that they can stop and really appreciate what this sign says and means to all of us. And it's the beautifully landscaped area will enhance this beautiful marker. We thank you for your service. You will hear the history of the marker shortly, but I truly believe that I will never, ever work on a better project. So This has been very, very special for me. Our Blue Star chairwoman, Candace Morgenstern, and our outgoing and incoming presidents, Annette Jarvis and Sophie Cofield. So, Annette and Sophie, thank you. And I'd like to thank you for your attendance. And now, if you would stand for the presentation of colors and the Pledge of Allegiance by Portsmouth Cub Scout Pack 50.
Great company. Present.
Dear God, we thank you for the beauty of this day. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you most especially for those who have served their country. We thank you for this opportunity to honor them.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It was easier to shield your family from the horrors of war and to shield your deployed loved ones from the problems back home. Mail call has been one-upped by technology, email, cell phones, and Skype, keeping deployed service members engaged with their families and friends. That same technology delivers frightening headlines that cause sleepless nights. My friend, Chief Wardwell, George, and I attended Beth Jackson's book signing a few months ago. We're fans, and I think you will be too. It's my honor to introduce Blue Star family member Beth Jackson.
I hope I don't cry like I did at that book signing, but I might. I'm honored to be here today, and I would like to thank the Portsmouth Garden Club and the Portsmouth Free Public Library, the Rhode Island Patriot Guard Riders, American Legion, and VFW for having me here at this great occasion. 2 years ago, my husband was serving in Afghanistan after being called up from the Army Reserves. I was not the one in the war zone, but I remember thinking my job on the home front was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. With the fear for my husband's safety, the juggling of my full-time consulting business and 3 children, the burst pipes that always seemed to come at inopportune times, and even a swarm of bees that chose that my house was going to be their new home. The bee guy later told me there were 24,000 bees. But then a phone call changed me forever. It was not about my husband, but it was about Ian, my middle son, who was then 9 years old at the time and had been hit by a car. My husband was in Afghanistan, and I was out of state on a business trip. 2 years ago today, he was in a wheelchair, learning how to walk again. During those long hours and days of that year, the American flag, memorials of war, and the blue star took on a whole new meaning for me. I had a deployment flag with a blue star on it in my front window.
A good portion of it because I don't have a very good memory. The most important thing that I'm going to do this morning, or this afternoon, is I'd like to recognize all the World War II and Korea War veterans that are in attendance today. Would they please stand? I know we have a few.
Patriot and Viking riders who are to the sides here and here. And I moved this. It's not an oversight. I did move this because I thought as we get closer to unveiling the marker that we would want to understand the history behind it. So I would now ask our New England Regional Director, Maria Nahom, to come up and to tell us the history of the marker.
Thank you. So pleased to be here. I know Carolyn mentioned that this is one of the best things she's worked on. I really understand that. I was the National Blue Star Chairman for National Garden Clubs, and it's the best position I ever had. I think the most.
Right in front of the marker, there's a grave marker that has been painted especially by a Portsmouth resident. Grave marker that has been painted by a Portsmouth resident with a flag in front of there. He wants to remain anonymous, so take a look at the artwork that he has done, and that will be on permanent display over there. I believe the new Part Artillery Company is going to fire your muskets at this time or a little bit later. A little bit later. So probably the next on the program would be the Singing of America the Beautiful by Simmons Crusoe. That sound good?
Actually, the Newport Artillery. The Newport Artillery Company of Newport the Artillery Company of Newport will now fire a musket salute to honor all veterans who fought for freedom and for our country.
Musketmen, both, peace! Line! Fire! About face! Present, homes!
Forces. While we go about our daily lives or while we sleep, the men and women of our armed forces fly our skies, sail our seas, and guard our shores, ensuring our safety. They stand ready at a moment's notice to defend our country. We must not forget them. We do not forget them. We remember with every drumbeat on the 4th of July. We pledge allegiance to our flag and we remember. At the sound of reveille, we remember. And as the last lingering note of taps resounds in the distance, we remember. In remembering today, we dedicate this Blue Star Memorial Marker to the honor and glory of all the men and women who have served, are now serving, and will serve in the armed forces of this great nation. It is with pride that the National Garden Clubs joins with Portsmouth Garden Club to perpetuate our Blue Star Memorial Program with this marker, which stands as a symbol for all we see, lest we forget those who helped to keep us free. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. What do those words mean to you? To me, they say, thank you, America, for your strength, for your courage, and for our freedom, which has been a beacon to the world for 200 years.
Of the United States of America,
whose bright stars are 50 states, each bearing its own stamp of individuality. People, 200 million strong. People who have come to her from all corners of the earth.
and to the republic for which it stands,
A land of laws with an ingenious system of checks and balances that allows no man to become a tyrant and lets no group prevail if their power is not tempered with a real concern for the governed. A land where the right of dissent and free speech is jealously guarded, where the ballot box is the sword and the people its wielder.
one nation, under God,
A land where freedom of worship is a cornerstone of her being. A land graced with temples and churches, synagogues and altars that rise in profusion to embrace all the religions of the world.
indivisible,
A land forged by the hot steel of raw courage and formed forever by the awful crucible of civil war.